What is up, folks? No Sleep Schedule Stellar here to come at you live with some doomer news. Yeah, that's right. Sony is in talks of buying Kadokawa, a company that holds From Software, which is known for making games like Bloodborne and Elden Ring. Also, another company, Spike Chunsoft, PMD, kind of a big deal. Just kind of maybe a small subset of spin-off games that Pokemon doesn't seem to care about anymore, that may or may not have spawned a bunch of just fan communities, nothing that big of a deal. And then also they're going to be buying Acquire that just made the new Mario and Luigi games. Nothing too big. No, this is kind of big news. Sony, if they acquire all these companies, all these IPs and whatnot, it's a good chance we might not be seeing Mario and Luigi games again from Acquire, for that matter, or even PMD games for that matter. Now, of course, does this mean that Nintendo can't just hire another company to make Mario and Luigi games? Yeah, because Acquire did just that. Now, as for PMD, that's up in the air. I don't really know if the Pokemon Company or Game Freak really seems to care about spin-off games anymore. All they seem to care about is lining their pockets with as many mobile games as much as possible. I mean, that new Pokemon TCG app, kind of neat, but I'm just not a mobile kind of person, I gotta say. It would be nice if we got to see some more spin-offs. Sucks that Detective Pikachu Returns, it wasn't the greatest, and it did suck sales-wise, but that just kind of shows that Pokemon companies like, we're just going to focus on as much lining profits as much as possible, mobile games, that kind of stuff. Now, why exactly is this that big of a deal? We've seen companies like Xbox, for example, acquire Mojang, and we got to see Minecraft on things like Nintendo and continue to be on Sony and whatnot. Well, I think it's more so the problem with Nintendo. Now, Nintendo has changed. We look at the past with Sony and Nintendo. Originally, they were going to make, you might have heard a little console called the Sony Nintendo PlayStation. That cool thing that they were going to do. And Nintendo was like, you know what, we're just going to stab Sony in the back, and we're going to work with Philips and, tick off Sony and make, literally make the company that's about to purchase the Mario and Luigi devs along with the PMD devs, That's kind of funny how Nintendo literally did that, and that's the case. So we got to really look at things. It's not like, look at like Rare, for example, where Rare was purchased by Microsoft, and Nintendo, for whatever reason, like, oh, we're just going to leave that 51% stock there. We're only going to hold 49. Part of me kind of thinks, well, Nintendo doesn't seem to really care about its devs. I mean, Alpha Dream went bankrupt, and I'm not necessarily an insider with Nintendo or whatnot, but it's just kind of sad seeing that Alpha Dream goes bankrupt. Nintendo's like, oh, we don't care about that. We care about the IP though. Fans care about the IP. We care about our money. Let's bring it back. So if Acquire was to be acquired by Sony, and Nintendo did have a massive chip on their shoulders still with Sony, yeah, I could just see them hiring someone new to continue the Mario and Luigi games if they do decide to do that. And same thing could happen with the PMD devs. Is this necessarily the end of the world? No, I don't really think it is the end of the world. It's subjective, and of course we don't really know how things are gonna go just because companies are being acquired by another company. It's not the greatest. I think what isn't the greatest to look at here is the fact that Monopoly is the big thing to look out regarding this. This is like the key lesson, being that Xbox, we've seen throughout the years. I just talked about Mojang, that was 10 years ago now, was not huge on them acquiring Mojang. I feel like Minecraft has certainly gone downhill. That's a whole different can of worms, though I probably shouldn't even said that. But then we move on to Bethesda. They acquired Bethesda. They got other studios like id, which was acquired by Bethesda, which is a game that may or may not have revolutionized the whole FPS genre. Doom, that's kind of a big deal, and then they've got all kinds of IPs, Fallout, you name it, all kinds of stuff. Then of course there's ZeniMax, being a whole different subset kind of company in there as well for Bethesda. And then of course they also most recently acquired Activision, which you may or may not have known that there was a ton of pushback from just governments and corporations, and Sony themselves also pushed against this because they saw it as a major monopoly that could really just be a juggernaut. They got to acquire IPs like Call of Duty, They got Blizzard, which, you know, Overwatch, all kinds of stuff. You know, that really just goes to show that Microsoft is just a juggernaut. Now, what isn't a juggernaut is their consoles, but you know that's neither here nor there. So Sony's trying to, you know, throw their weight around. They're trying to say, hey, Xbox bought those guys, we're gonna buy these guys, and it's probably, I could see this potentially happening, considering, you know, there's games like Bloodborne and Elden Ring that Sony has some pretty close ties with From Software. So it's like, you know, same thing with like Xbox, but it's like Sony's clearly ticked. I'd say this is a good reaction. They're ticked that you know, Activision Blizzard was acquired by Microsoft, and they got to do something next. Now, why is Nintendo acquire and Spike Chunsoft? Well, I don't know. Nintendo does some weird moves, like I said before. Rare, for whatever reason, was not acquired. That was a pretty big deal. They just kind of let them be absorbed by Microsoft. Same thing with Alpha Dream, that they died, you know, and it's strange. But let me know what you think down in the comments. Did you think Mario and Luigi was pretty neat? Do you think Acquire deserves to be acquired by Sony? Same thing with Spike Chunsoft, the developers of the Mystery Dungeon series, you know, also Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, because I don't know, everyone always talks about freaking Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, not like Choco's Mystery Dungeon. That's clearly the forgotten stepchild, but I hopefully it doesn't happen. When I say hopefully it doesn't happen, I mean hopefully we don't keep seeing games from these series. You know, we want to see the next PMD, whether it be a remake or a new installment. We want to see more Mario and Luigi. But yeah, steel yourselves for the future and back. Hey there, folks. Thanks for watching the video. Really appreciate it. I have to notice there was a bit of a buzzing after I began to listen back to this, and it's hard to really tell when I'm recording if the buzzing is really showing up or not, because sometimes ambient noise will also show up. So that kind of sucks, but like, you know, I thought that was a pretty good take. I was full of energy, pretty passionate about the subject I was talking about, so whatever, you know. Also, this video was brought to you by no, there's no sponsor. I'm joking. This is just a cool end slate thing we're doing because, you know, why not? Talking about some fun things. Also, make sure you maybe subscribe and dislike the video if you didn't like it, but you know, leave a comment down below, as I already said, you know, beforehand. Also, I've been trying to rebrand since other people have helped me with this channel. Well, not being Brandon, who's been an editor on this channel, along with Toby as well, also an editor. So I'm like, you know, it feels a little narcissistic to just say, like, you know, this is like just my name. So, you know, that's what Steel Circle Guild's about. But it's gonna come with time as we adapt and develop things. But you know, I don't know, at this point I'm just freaking rambling. But with that being said, steel yourselves as usual, classic catchphrase, and bye-bye.